Welcome to our few moments together on the Pesach video. I'm going to be spending a few moments speaking about one of the most important aspects of the beautiful Seder coming up tomorrow night, and that is that at the end of the Seder, we all say, Chasal Seder Pesach Kehilchaso. We have completed the entire Seder of Pesach according to the halacha, which implies that we're going to do things according to the way they must be done. So let's discuss the mitzvahs at the Seder and how to properly perform them. First, we have to know that there are two main mitzvahs at the Seder. One, of course, is the mitzvah of the eating of matzah. It's a biblical deoraisa command to eat a kazayas matzah. And that kazayas is preferably, if you can, at least a half of a round matzah or 3/4 of a square matzah. There are a number of times that we have to eat that, but if we fulfill that requirement, we will at least have the mitzvah of the eating of matzah mideoraisa. The second mitzvah that is biblical deoraisa is the mitzvah of sipur yetzias Mitzrayim, the telling out over of the story of the going out of Egypt, which is based on the pasuk v'higadata levincha bayom hahu. You shall say it over to your children on that day. And the most important part of the Haggadah is the paragraph where it says, Rabbi Gamliel haya omer. Rabbi Gamliel used to say, whoever doesn't say these three things has not fulfilled the requirement, and that is Pesach, Matzah, and Morah. We explain why we eat the Korban Pesach, why we eat the Matzah, and why we eat the Morah. So the two Midoraisa Torah commands are one, Matzah, and second, the telling of the story of the going out of Egypt. Now there's a tremendous temptation to get to the main meal, but please be aware that we shouldn't take away too much time from the beautiful story of the going out of Egypt, which is biblical in nature, just to get to the meal, but we shouldn't take too long so that we don't fulfill another requirement, and that is that there are three rabbinic requirements of mitzvahs, three rabbanon mitzvahs at the Seder. One, of course, is the mitzvah of the Dalit Kosos, the 4 cups of wine. And in order to fulfill the mitzvah of the drinking of the 4 cups, we break it up in connection with 4 different aspects and mitzvahs of the Seder: the Kiddush, the Sipur Yetzias Mitzrayim, the Birchas Hamazon, and the Hallel. And we have a cup for each one. And the cup shouldn't be too large, because preferably we should drink an entire cup, or at least the majority of a cup. And so you should get a hold of a small cup if you can, just one that holds only 3 or 4 ounces in order to fulfill the mitzvah. There's no requirement to have a tremendous kos shel Eliyahu in order to fulfill the mitzvah of the drinking of the wine. We don't want to become inebriated. We just want to fulfill the mitzvahs. And so what we're going to do is drink 4 cups of wine according to the Seder that they are in the Haggadah. And another mitzvah of the Rabbanan that we do today is the mitzvah of moror, the eating of the bitter herbs. And the most preferable form today that is available is the romaine lettuce. And even though it doesn't taste bitter right now, but the longer the romaine lettuce remains in the ground, the more bitter it gets. And so it was with the slavery of the Jewish people in Mitzrayim. And the third mitzvah is the mitzvah of Hallel, to say the songs of praise and recite the bracha at the beginning and at the end of Hallel. And according to the halacha, we're supposed to complete that by Chatzos, midnight, which this year is 12:59 a.m. And we therefore should complete the Seder by that time. It could be a bit of a rush because there's so much Torah to say, so many songs to sing, so many beautiful events taking place at the Seder that we don't want to do away with them. And consequently, what we want to do is just get the basic ideas across, speak out some Torah, and please remember that once we finish with the bracha of Hallel by 12:59, we can stay up all night like Rabbi Akiva did and say Divrei Torah until someone's going to tell us Higi Azman Kriyas Shema Shel Shacharis. So we have the opportunity to fulfill these beautiful mitzvahs, and there are other, of course, observances that we want to do in the proper way. Leaning on a pillow to your left side is one of them, and another is the eating of the karpas, which is the vegetable that should be celery and preferably a green vegetable, as we discussed in the Shabbos Agadol Drasha. There are so many other aspects of the Seder, and we want to enjoy all of them and keep the beautiful traditions, the Mesorah that's been passed down since the time Klal Yisrael left Mitzrayim, to fulfill the mitzvahs of the Seder, and at the end say and feel it. And I urge you, when you get to that part, get up and dance. L'shana haba b'Yerushalayim habenuyah. We should have the ability next year to celebrate the eating of the Korban Pesach in the time of the Beis HaMikdash. We should all be together, Klal Yisrael. The world should be at peace, because when Mashiach comes, that's what it will bring. And the Seder is just a little taste of what the beauty and the fantastic closeness to HaKadosh Baruch Hu we're going to feel when we come into the area of Yerushalayim, Yer HaKodesh, where the Beis HaMikdash is, and we rejoice in the fact that Hashem took us out of Mitzrayim, and just as we were redeemed at that time in Nisan, hopefully in this time too. I want to take this opportunity to wish everyone a wonderful Chag Sameach. Enjoy the Seder, fulfill the mitzvahs, and enjoy them. And we should be zoche, not only to have a Chag Kosher V'Sameach ourselves, but all of Klal Yisrael. And let's hope L'shana Haba'ah V'Yerushalayim Habenuyah. Chag Sameach.